Hey guys, back with another reaction video. This time it is for Dream Theater, the Ministry of Lost Souls live. Dream Theater are a band that I'm well aware of. I've listened to them for a long time, many years. Images and Words, is a stunning album. I kind of revisit it. Every couple of years or so I go back and I still love it. Love everything about it, really. But as a band, I've kind of really only been into their music sporadically. I kind of come and go. So there's several of their albums that I really haven't listened to. This doesn't sound like the name of a song that I'm familiar with, so I don't think I've heard this before. But anyway, just giving you a little bit of context there. So I obviously am familiar with the band and I know the players for the most part. So yeah, let's get into this. Dream Theater, the Ministry of Lost Souls. 3, 2, 1, go. Yes. Yes, liking this straight up. Actually, the main thing jumping out to me there is on the drums. It's not very often you hear a kind of groove on a China cymbal, usually on the crash. So Mike Portnoy, I'm pretty sure this is. He's unmistakable with the beard and the hat. I know their drummers have, Mike, I think, left the band at some point and then they replaced him. So obviously this is, when Mike was still in the band. Anyway, so yeah, no, that's unusual. I'm liking the hook of this straight away. I'm getting really epic vibes, chord progression and so on. So yeah, liking this straight away. Straight in, I mean, Dream Theater are very known for playing in odd time signatures. They're very progressive. Probably one of the very first prog metal bands. But this sounds like it's in 4/4, so unusual, refreshing in a way to hear like a straight groove up. I'm sure I can see this is a 15-minute long song, so I'm sure it's going to switch things up a bit. Beautiful. Okay, so straight away, sounds like the guitar is using the piezo system there, which is like an acoustic kind of sound on an electric. I could be mistaken, but to my ears that sounds straight away like a piezo pickup that he's went on to. Beautiful, lovely, clean sound. I'm gonna go back a few seconds. Nice little bit of delay on the guitar. Oh, he's harmonizing. Ooh. Whoa, okay, so some discordant notes being put in there because the chord progression at the moment sounds actually very major, minor, major, minor, major, minor kind of thing they're playing off. Yeah, there's the minor. It's a C major. Minor. Very dissonant note in there. I don't know whether he has a lot of chorus effect on his guitar or not, which is like a modulation effect. But it almost sounds kind of out of tune. Possibly just the nature of the guitar, whenever you're down at this sort of range and you're playing on the G strings, the B strings, because of the temperament on the guitar, a lot of the time it will actually sound a little bit out of tune. I'm not sure if that's just, the pressure on the fretboard or whether, he's using the chorus effect there to achieve that sort of dissonance, detuned kind of sound. Slightly out of tune. Beautiful. So obviously, you know, the singer is the main thing here, but a lot of the time when I listen to music, for some reason my ears aren't always straight into the singing. I always find myself actually listening to the background arrangement quite a lot. There's something going on there. It sounds almost like backing vocals, but I don't see anybody there. Possibly Jordan Rudess, you know, the keyboardist. That he's, you know, we haven't really seen any shots of him recently there, but he's maybe playing something, you know, it could be like a vocal patch or something on one of his keyboards. But there's definitely sounds like there's some sort of effect coming in here, like a vocal kind of effect. There, you can kind of hear it. If you're listening on headphones, you can hear it panning back and forward. So on the singer, James LeBrie, you know, I'm pretty sure that's his name. If I'm honest, James's voice, I guess, is one of the things that I've kind of had a bit of a love-hate relationship with his voice. There's times whenever he's really belting and he's up in a very, very high range. To me, I don't totally love it. Not always, but at other times, you know, I really like it. So I just find sometimes that I'm not always completely on board with his singing. But I must say that in these sort of quieter moments, it's very dynamic, and I think his voice is very strong whenever he's doing this sort of whispered theatrical kind of stuff. Meant to die, but she's stuck, not crossing over. Oh. The other side is where lovely minor chord there. Your spirit reaching out and to say what she's too scared to take his hand. Living in a world. So we're getting obviously big ballad vibes here in this song. Which is really, really nice. It kind of puts me in the mind of something from a music theatre kind of production. My knowledge of musicals is a little limited, although as a pianist, you know, often I will accompany singers in exams, and so, you know, there are certain songs that I'm pretty familiar with because I've played them. There's just a certain vibe here of sort of music theatre, not in the visuals, but just the actual song itself. Never really seen John Petrucci, the guitarist, doing much backing vocals before in the past. Maybe he does. Oh, I like him these chords here. Now, see, to me, it's nice to hear that chord coming in there, which sounds kind of like a dominant seventh, you know, because I was expecting the note to just go one down. Da, da. Very classical sounding. Nice. Beautifully controlled bends there on the guitar. Lovely. Really nice. Obviously very tasteful with the song. You know, John Petrucci, you know, is sort of labelled in as one of the sort of shredder type guys. You you know, but obviously he's not letting that get the better of him. You know, he's playing to the song instead. So very emotional and, you know, tasteful solo. Beautiful tone off his lead as well. Again, from a time signature point of view, it's a very unusual Dream Theater song in my experience because it sounds very straight. It's 4/4 time. They're playing about a little bit with unexpected chord changes. Real kind of Beatles vibe there. It reminded me of a Beatles song there. So one of the George Harrison ones. Let's be guitar lick. You hear that note sustained there in the minor chord, and then, you know, so, and then it resolved to the major. So again, really, really lovely music. That seems to be based harmonically between minor and major chords. I know there's a lot of dissonance in there as well, but the chord progression here is fairly pop sounding. Yeah. It's those couple of dissonant notes that are really more unusual. Oh, it's seen Mike Portnoy's actually on the backing vocals, so he might have had something to do with that earlier on in the song. Back onto the China cymbal. Double time. Wasn't expecting that shift. Okay, so let's guess it's the first point. So we're 6 minutes in here. So obviously for prog bands, a 15-minute song isn't really out of the ordinary, I guess. Most bands maybe that would be writing this type of song would probably finish it somewhere here, but you know, these guys are only getting warmed up. I feel like we're probably going to take a turn here and go into some sort of instrumental wizardry. I'd be surprised if we don't. I don't really see them like taking what they've been doing and stretching it out over 15 minutes. I'm sure we're up for a bit of a change here, but the tempo shifts are, you know, it's bringing a little bit of energy in, so this will be interesting to see where we go. Right, I thought it would go back down there again. Still building. Again, keeping everything in 4/4 time. Surprised they don't have any little sort of odd, you know, you're usually prone to doing that, so I guess. Oh, switching the kits up. Nice. That, just that wee fill there, I was, you know, kind of expecting more of that. So they're actually being incredibly restrained in their performance so far for Dream Theater, you know. Spoke too soon, here we go. So here's the Middle Eastern vibes coming in. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of what I was expecting. You know, obviously for incredibly talented musicians, you know, I think, you know, most of them, if not all of them, met in Berklee College in America, you know, a college for musicians. So, you know, I mean, they're like the creme de la creme, really, when it comes to performers. So you can hear these guys are freewheeling, I feel like, you know, there's just, whenever they start getting ramped up and getting technical, they're still kind of coasting because their abilities, you know, are so extreme, you know, incredibly gifted and talented, and I'm sure they work at it as well, but really good performers. Everything very much in unison here with the riffing. Not sure I'm loving that keyboard tone, a bit cheesy sounding. I'm pretty sure, you know, Jordan, one of Jordan's qualities, I guess, is, you know, having like an incredibly gifted, classically trained pianist there is, you know, no matter how technical the riffs get, he's going to be able to double that up. So he does introduce sort of more unusual textures. I think a lot of the keyboards he uses, or I think he uses Korgs a lot, although he might have been a Kurzweil player a long time ago. I've got an SV1 here that I use a lot, which is a Korg. I've also owned Kurzweil keyboards before, but I've noticed in the past some of the sort of electronic patch sounds he uses, they're not always to my taste, you know, being a wee bit fussy perhaps, but it's nice that he adds that textural thing there, you know, gives them an extra sort of dimension that, you know, if there was a second guitarist, for instance, you know, you wouldn't really get that. Getting busy. There's those tones, I don't know. One thing I do like, you know, that they do is, you know, especially with the keyboards, you know, keyboards on the stage can always look a wee bit naff. You know, it's hard as a keyboard player to rock out a bit because you're either standing doing this, or you're sitting doing this, or you're got the keytar out, you know, occasionally. And he's obviously got this sort of rig where he's able to move it around. And I think one of the nice things about, you know, from an audience perspective is actually to be able to see the pianist's fingers, you know. So, you know, he's going to move that around. So, you know, he's given a bit of a performance as well from, you know, from a visual point of view. Yeah. Bit of a wah-wah sound going on there on the guitar. lots of delay on the tone. There's the shredding coming out now. Yes. Again, very classical in the harmony. Obviously, maybe another point to mention here is that it's not improvised. You know, these guys are, I mean, you can tell obviously because, well, for one, Jordan, you know, likes to play with the sheet music. You know, he's using iPads or whatever there, but he always seems to have sheet music in front of him. You know, so it's all, you know, I don't think he's playing from lead sheets here because the actual riffing that he's doing matches what John is playing. Both Johns actually, John Mayung on the bass. You know, everything is locked in note for note, so these guys are playing this precisely. So I wouldn't be surprised if you listen to an album version of this that it sounds pretty much identical, more or less. I'm sure there are a couple of little things that, you know, are different on a live performance, but this sounds like, I'm sure this kind of note for note stuff. Well, they're harmonizing with each other actually there rather than in unison. Yeah, it sounds like we're coming back to the beginning. Is James going to make an appearance again? Yeah, so this is the refrain from the very beginning of the song. Very epic sounding, you know, catchy. Whoa. Here he comes.
Wanted to deserve a place beside you. This time when I reach out my hand.
Oh yes, this is nice. Actually, funnily enough, the sort of double time thing on the drums, I personally preferred it on the sort of slower. I know it's maybe stays more laid back feeling with that, like, but I really prefer that beat. I know they're trying to maybe just get a wee bit more energy into it with that, but I think I might have preferred for them just to sort of stay in that sort of slower groove. Nice to hear them relying on vocals a little more. Like I said, getting the harmonies in. It's maybe just my limited experience of listening to them. You know, I always thought that much more into the instrumental side of things there, but Mike and John Petrucci obviously doubling up on the vocals. Waiting on the minor. There is it. Yes! Actually, until very recently, I owned a John Petrucci signature guitar, electric guitar, one of the JP models. It was a sterling one, wasn't the full fat Ernie Ball American one, but lovely, lovely guitar. You know, just fancied a change, so I sold it recently. But yeah, powerful pickups within it. You know, they were DiMarzio Crunch Labs and Liquifier, I think, were the pickups in it. So very high output. I'm not sure. Looks very similar model. You know, this was posted in 2011, so I'm not sure if that is, you know, around about the time that this was filmed. You know, I don't know whether, you know, this is much older than that. But yeah, the guitar tone, he manages to get a beautiful tone, you know, very liquid, funny enough that he has that pick up the liquefier. Yeah, lovely lead tone. Loving those bands. Sure, it's nice to be able to just sit back and play some chords and hold them instead of, you know. Oh, nice key change. Wasn't expecting that key change. I'm gonna go back and run that again. A lot of key changes go up. You know, this one's come down. I was saying about them playing note for note. Obviously he's got that very strong melody, so he's sticking on that, but I can hear it probably detecting from the drums there in this kind of straight time. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Mike Portnoy is kind of changing fills up a little bit there, you know, the backing part of the band in this would be very free. You know, so this may be different from what's on the album, you know, in terms of what's going on behind them, behind the lead. Those little fills and so on. I'd be surprised if he's keeping all those identical from what's on the record. Doesn't get old, that. Another key change. My goodness. I guess that's a nice way, it's a kind of clever way from a compositional point of view to keep basically playing the same thing. You know, because the tendency, I guess, especially with prog musicians, is that you get bored very quickly. You know, so you want something else in there. You know, so the idea that they're keeping the same riff and same chorusy type, you know, I know there's no vocal to this, but it has a chorus kind of feel. Maybe by changing keys, they're able to kind of keep it fresh sounding. You know, if I had just kept that in the original key, I'd be kind of bored by now, but I'm still enjoying it. It's a little bit of different flavour when it moves. I must be bringing this to a close soon, though. There we go. Nice! Yeah, I enjoyed this one.
Thank you very much, Vancouver!
Vancouver. Nice one, guys. Yeah, that was enjoyable, actually, yeah. Again, not the sort of typical Dream Theater song that I'm used to. Mentioned the change of seasons earlier on, you know, that's another big epic. It's longer, actually, than this song. It's 20, maybe even 25 minutes long. Has lots of different sections. Really good, fun song. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. You know, I give scores out of 10. So obviously nothing to fault in terms of the musicianship here. Like I said, Berkeley graduates. So these guys are top. So I guess really my score is based on the performance of this song. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I would probably give this a solid 7 out of 10. Musicianship on display is worth more than that. But in terms of the song, although I did enjoy the sort of shifts and the fact it moved, that's kind of what Dream Theater are known for. So I would be surprised if they didn't do that. But yeah, I just have other songs of theirs that I probably prefer to this. So you know, but maybe leave a bit of room for some of those. Like Pull Me Under, you know, I'd probably be an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Just feels like a better song, that's all. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe because I've lots of requests coming in. So thanks very much. Bye.